Any update on how Abdul's feeling?
Yeah, he was a little sore. We didn't do much yesterday, so there wasn't really to base it on, but we'll see how he feels today.
When you look at Ole Miss, what jumps off the page at you is how dangerous Tyree can be. I know you'll obviously be looking to hold out more than just Tyree, but just what does he bring for Ole Miss, and just how much of a focus of the game plan is stopping Breein Tyree?
Yeah, he's a terrific player. He's Player of the Week this week in the SEC. He had 38 points on Tuesday against South Carolina. It was just phenomenal. He was great against Florida. He's shooting a very high percentage from three. I think about 45% in conference. He's returning first-team All-League player, and he's playing leading scorer in our conference. And he scores at all levels, and he scores from three, he scores on pull-ups in the paint, he scores at the rim, he gets fouled. He does it all. And he's just a very difficult guy to match up with, and he has a chance to be an NBA player, no doubt. Really like his game, and I think he's a special talent and a great competitor. He's always played good against us.
Along these lines, Coach, what have you seen differently from Ole Miss? Has it just been a matter of their schedule and playing at home? And, obviously they've played well compared to starting out the SEC 0-5. What have you seen different from them lately?
I think they're really playing well right now. I think the best they played all year are the last two games against South Carolina and Florida. They were dominant against South Carolina and really did a nice job. And I think that Buffin and Henson are really good players. They both, were mainstays last year. That roles have increased. Henson had a great game here a year ago where he had 26, 27, had a career high in that game. I really like Schuler. Schuler's really a good player, good point guard, heady, but he's scoring a lot more this year. Those four guys are key guys from last year's team that went to the in-state tournament that are back. And, I think Cy's doing a good job for him when you look at him assimilating. He's playing his best basketball of the year right now and really coming on. The kid that's really made a big jump for him in the last two games, both important wins for him, is the kid Collum, number 14. He's played, I think, 33 minutes or 36 minutes, one or the other. But just gets in there and defends, rebounds, doesn't make mistakes. He's tough. He's a guy they've added to that lineup, and now all of a sudden you'll see him, I think, playing a lot more minutes here from this point forward, because he's really helping them win games, and that's at the end of the day the main thing.
Obviously, you talk a lot about one game at a time, but looking at the schedule, 5 of the next 7 are on the road. Just kind of a dumb question. Obviously, your team has to have a different mentality on the road to grind through that. Just what's it going to take for this team to find more road success?
Hey, again, nothing changes. You prefaced my whole comment. It's just, we've been on the road, and we've been right there. We've won, at Florida. We've had a couple of heartbreakers at Oklahoma and at LSU. And, you've just got to out-tough the opponent on the road. There's nothing greater than winning on the road as a team. And, to go into Oxford, which they do have a very good home floor, and, I'm sure it'll be a great boisterous crowd tomorrow. We've got to show up very disciplined, very tough-minded, and maintain composure and execute our offense and defense.
Go middle, second row to Logan.
Even going back to Andy Kennedy's time at Ole Miss, they've kind of used that full court trap and kind of giving y'all fits at times. How much will y'all work on that? How much have you seen from that with Kermit's teams?
Yeah, I think Andy actually got that from Kermit. They were friends, and when he was at Middle Tennessee. But, yeah, he's very good at running the 1-3-1 trap, and it falls back to 2-3. They're also playing a little more 2-3 zone as of late, just as a primary defense without being in the 1-3-1 first. But they're really pressuring the ball and doing a good job hawking the ball defensively, getting out and getting into people, and playing really hard. And that's the main thing. Their players are playing incredibly hard. And, you look at, some of their losses they had in the conference. I mean, the Auburn loss was just gut-wrenching because they had them. I mean, they deserved to win that game, no doubt. So they're a very, hard-playing group.
Any other questions for Coach? We'll go back to Paul here.
Kind of looking way down the road, what have you seen from Davion Smith and Cam Matthews this year and their senior? I know playoffs are coming up for them.
Yeah, they're both playing really well. Davion's one of the top teams in the country. I think they were 4th or 5th in the country last time I checked. He's having a spectacular year and is a really, really heady, smart player and very, very talented. And what I'm excited about for him is he's shooting the ball more from 3. That's something I encouraged him to do. He can get by anybody. So it's never a problem to get, and it's almost like, well, why should I shoot if I can just get to the rim every time? Because no one can stop him from penetrating. But he's a very good shooter, and he's shooting the ball well from 3. And then Cam is having a really good year as well. And they play a very tough schedule. Their coach does a good job of scheduling opponents outside from other areas. They play a very rigorous, tough national schedule, and they've done that, the last few years. And so that's been a good experience for him, and he's playing really well and, putting up good numbers, not only scoring but rebounding. And he's a very good passer, so I'm excited about both those kids very much. I think he's a 3.
When you think about Mississippi State versus Ole Miss and how intense the rivalry is in football, is it that same intensity in basketball? Do you feel the same amount of I don't know if pressure is the right word, but
I think
it
you
is?
feel it more in a basketball game. It's enclosed. I mean, there's way more intensity in a closed building when everybody's right on top of you. I mean, I think it's great in football, no question. But in terms of the intimacy of a basketball game, there's nothing like it. That's why, it's the fastest growing, sport in the world. It's just a great atmosphere, and so you feel it for sure. And there's no question. Whatever we play them in, any sport, there's competition to be the best. And, so there's no question we feel it very strongly, as I know they do too.